All right, now it's time to make this look better together. So, first of all, I'm gonna correct some things here. The boy, for instance, I feel like he can stand a bit more inside this grass. So I'm gonna take the layer of this boy, the mask, and I'm gonna go for the dune grass again and just brush a bit more. Don't forget to disable color dynamics. This all depends on how your image looks now. Maybe your image is already good. I don't know, but I think for mine, I will brush a bit more here, so it's like really standing inside this grass because I feel like it doesn't look real when his feet are visible. So this is a bit better now. All right, of course the shadow of him doesn't look right now, so I have to move this a bit up. Maybe put it like that. Just a bit shadow here, like that, not much. He's standing in between the grass. All right, so the next thing to do is to get some more light effects in this. So first of all, let's make sure we have enough light here from the moon. So let's go to the moon, create a new layer, then select general brush, and let's pick something white. Let's make a dot like that. Put it where the moon is and change the blend mode to screen. And you can see here we create a nice lighting from the moon. Of course, it's too much, so bring the opacity down. So we have just a little bit of glow from that moon. All right, so this is okay. Now the dog is a bit too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some curves to the dog. Make sure to press this. And I'm going to bring the highlights a bit up so he's a bit more visible there. Or else he's just somewhere in the background. You can barely see him. Maybe a bit less like that. All right, this looks already a bit better. Now we need to do some color adjustments to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer on top of everything and select color balance. And here I can change the color a bit. So I'm gonna have a bit more bluish because at night you will see a bit more blue. So I'm gonna add some blue to this and also a bit of that one. So that's it. Not much, just a bit. Now I'm also gonna add some curves to this. And I'm gonna bring up the highlights, make it a bit lighter. And let's see, maybe we can make the darks a bit darker. Let's try it out. Just a bit like that. So we have a bit more contrast. This looks already better. Now, for the background, we have these mountains. I think they're a bit too light. So first of all, I'm gonna make this background, press Ctrl I to make the background black. Select this layer from mountains. And let's make them really dark in the background. I don't want to see it too much. So you can play with this around. Maybe you want to have it like real dark. This is also pretty cool. Let's make them like super dark there. All right, and this is our moon. Let's move our moon a bit there. Something like this. I think the moon is a bit too brightish. Oh, this one, maybe a bit less glow. All right, so this is now already better. Okay, let's move on. Now, when you have everything in your composite, it's time to move on to do final adjustments. So for final adjustments, I'm gonna create a new layer on top of everything and press Command Alt Shift E. And now we have like everything in one layer. And if I press right mouse, converts to a smart object, it's gonna make a smart object, which is obviously a good thing. And then go to filter, select camera raw filter. And with camera raw, we can do final adjustments. So I made this a smart object because I can always do some changes here, press OK, and later on even change these settings. So let's start with doing changes here. So let's first go to, let's see, basic first. And let's play with these settings here. So maybe a bit more exposure to make this a bit lighter. Let's try the contrast here. I think if you make the contrast a bit less contrast first to blend this better all together. And then let's see. Let's add some highlights here so we can see stuff a bit better. And the shadows a bit to the left to make darker shadows. Let's see. This is also depends on the screen you are using. So try to play out with the settings to make this a bit more real, or make it look better, because this is like the last step in your composite to like adjust all these lighting and colors and contrast stuff like that. So if you're gonna bring down here the texture, it's gonna make the image look really soft, which is maybe pretty good for this one. But we also want to see the details, so we need to increase the clarity a bit here if we do that. Like that. Let's see, dehaze. Let's not touch that one. And let's move on to curves. Here we have highlights again. We can make stuff like this lamp really light here. Let's make this highlighted. I'm gonna really crank this up so we can see the light of the lamp. Now let's see this one. This is also interesting. When you play with all these settings, you can create a whole kind of different image from your one you started. But let's see. Let's move it a bit to the right. Oh, we can make this darker. I think we can make the dark a bit darker now. Not sure. Probably it's a bit too dark now. And let's see. Let's move the shadows a bit to the right. Let's see how this looks. I think this looks pretty good already. Let's move on to detail. We don't really have noise, so we can increase some sharpening here. And some noise reduction. Not much noise in our image. Usually at night you will see some noise, but we don't have noise. All right, so with the color mixer, we can play around with the colors. We can get real creative here. So usually I just slide these from left to right to see how this changes. Let's see. Nothing changes much because we don't have this color in this image. This one we have, you can see here, the blues. I'm gonna move the blues a bit to the right. Let's leave those. And let's move on to saturation. Let's get rid of that red. Orange. Let's get rid of that orange a bit. And these are nothing. Oh, this is the blue we have in the background. We can make it a bit more dark, like without color, like that. I think this is enough. The last one I don't really want to mess with, maybe just a bit like that. All right, let's move on. These don't need. You can add some vignette to this to create more focus on the center of this image. And let's move on this other vignette to make it even more. Just like that. Now with calibration, we can also play with colors. We don't have that much color. So if I'm gonna change these sliders, you can barely see anything happen because we have like really this night setting. There is not so much color in this image. And let's see. Let's move on to this one. And I think this is fine. All right, I like this one. I'm gonna press OK now. And this is, you can compare this. If you enable disable, you can see the big difference it makes. I think this is a lot better already. Now let's create curves on top of this. And here we can even make this lighter if we want to, maybe just a bit lighter. Then we change this to red, so we can change the red ones here. If I want to have it a bit more blue, I'm gonna move this a bit to the right. Let's do the green one here. And the blue one here. Let's leave that one. We don't need that one. And there is another trick I always do, and that's to select color lookup and select tree strip. And this will give us a bit more color. Just a bit. Just like that. And I think this is pretty much done. So this is like basic steps to create something like this. Obviously you can do this better if you spend more time on this, practice a lot, do like realistic sizes, but you get the point here, how to create lighting, how to blend things a bit better together, how to make stuff like mist. But try to create a lot of stuff, different composites, and eventually they will become better and better after some time. So I hope you enjoyed this course. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one.